Hello guys and welcome to my welcome to my Higurashi Minagoroshi theory video. I guess it is new since there hasn't been a Minagoroshi theory video before, so you might be like, Aiden, where's the big text document? Where's my 2 to 4 hour video? Well, I said I was gonna do a theory video, but like, to be honest, there's not really any theories I have. I mean, all the answers have pretty much been put onto the screen, right? And by that I mean like, and the only things we have to speculate are like very few things that are like full speculation without any real evidence. But I still thought it might be fun to talk about it a bit, you know. I'm mainly winging it, so it's more like it's less of the traditional theory videos and more of like a discussion. Basically, I think the main points, first we're gonna sum up the information we know, then I want to talk about the curse murders, and then I kind of want to talk about I guess possibilities for the next arc and how I think it might go, how it could spice itself up, you know. But yeah, so what do we have? We basically have a lot. We have full confirmation on why each why either Shion, Rena, or Keiichi goes on their killing spree because of the Hinamizawa syndrome virus. They all reach a high terminal level and kill each other. From what I've seen, it does not seem that Takano is actively pushing people to hit that level and cause chaos. It hasn't been indicated that. It still could be a thing, but it does not seem it from what we've seen. It kind of just happens naturally through circumstances in each of their lives, you know. Keiichi's fear of paranoia being caused by, or being started by his trip to Tokyo, which was something cool that the arc told me that I didn't even think about, even though when we learned about Hinamizawa syndrome, that he did actually leave Hinamizawa for a weekend, so that could have triggered the start of his paranoia. And for Rena, obviously it's dependent on how the relationship between her dad and Rina goes. And Shion's is I guess it's if her feelings for Satoshi kind of awakens again. Those are like all the trigger things. Now, okay, actually before we go into that, let's sum up some more information. So it is confirmed that Takano is killing Rika every arc. I did think that was most likely. And she is killing Tomotaki every arc. So that is for the whole Tokyo organization thing and her own idea of transcending into God by leaving, well, it's not even leaving her own name in history, it's leaving the curse of Oyasho-sama in history, which is technically her, but since she's the one carrying it out, it's like when people refer to it, they're referring to her, is basically how I see it. Now the question is Takano doing the curse murders? It's an interesting question. So Rika basically cleared the first curse murder up, and I think we should use that to build our basis around it. So basically Rita said that the murder of the damn foreman was kidnapped by the mounted gods, where they did experiments on him which helped them in their research. And by that means that first of all, that means the mountain gods were the people who made that guy disappear, so that solves his disappearance. And it also means that he was in a terminal stage, so that's why he killed the foreman. So I feel like they were kind of like setting it up to be like, this is the pattern, this is how it happened. And one of the persons had the terminal symptoms, and then the mountain gods cleaned up the murder. It kind of reminds me of my very early Onotakashi theory, where I'm like, the wife did it of each couple, and then they disappeared because they're working together with the cult. Because it kind of seemed that way. At least, I mean, the first guy wasn't a wife, but then the Hojo wife disappeared, then Rika's mom disappeared. It seemed a little sus, but obviously it could just be that one person gets a high terminal level, then the mountain gods deal with it. Now, it doesn't have to be the case, and I guess that might low-key even support the idea of Takano pushing the suspects to reach a high terminal, so she could make sure the curse happens and she has someone to make disappear. But, so, that is a thing now. You're like, Aiden, what about Oishi? I know no one's saying Oishi, and we've pretty much cleared everyone. But I still feel, no, there's no way it's Oishi, but like, if you think about it, it is low-key possible for him. I mean, if you want to believe that someone's been pushing people, including Teichi, Rena, and Shion, to reach high terminals, it's either Takano or Oishi, right? And if you remember the earlier arcs, they're saying Oishi's like the bringer of Oyasho-sama's curse. You know, he talked to the victims before they disappeared, aka Rika's mom, Satoshi. And I mean, like, if Oishi was putting pressure on them, that could have made them go into the terminal stage. Now, it could be funny, like, what if Oishi is, like, helping, but he's, like, not doing it on purpose? He's just, like, trying to interrogate them because he has a hunch that something might happen to someone involving them, and then that just causes a weird chain reaction. It would have been funny that Oishi's was just low-key helping the curse without actually trying. But yeah, I think that idea of how the curses are happening is pretty good. And again, with this mountain god squad, they have the ability to like change the crime scene like indefinitely, like really easy, right? So the idea of, for the hand railing thing, they can easily fix up the scene. We've seen them fix up the scene with all the club members they killed. They just completely made it seem like it never happened. So the idea of no evidence actually being found and them looking like a separate incident isn't actually like great. because the mountain gods could all change that. Which is hard to theorize, because like what can you really tell true if like literally all evidence is manipulatable because of the freaking mountain gods? But yeah, it kind of would be a good way for how all incidents would connect. Hydration. But then you're like, Aiden, why is it all happening on the Watchanagashi? Then I'm like, I don't know why. It does kind of lead you to believe that someone is pushing the people to do it, and it probably is Takano, because even though she did not outright say she did it, she kind of implied it. And she's also saying she's the curse of Oyasho-sama, so if you go with this idea of her becoming a god, then you kind of just assume that she did do all the other murders, or at least like after the first one, because it wouldn't really make sense if she was transcending a god and becoming Oyasho-sama's curse if she didn't do all of the curse stuff. So I'm guessing that's probably the truth. And it is Takano, but you know, for the 0.01% it's Oishi. I got it covered. But then, like, what I wanted to talk about, which I guess we'll get there closer, is like kind of hone in on how each of the cases could have gone down. We know how the first one went down. I can see how the third one went down, because we don't know much about it at all, but we do know that Rita's mom was hella stressed out because of Rita, basically. She was stressed out how people treated her, how she knew stuff, when it turns out Hanyu was teaching her. She was basically all that stuff caused her to be really stressed, caused her to act suspicious. Wink, wink. And this probably means that and that's probably the hint to show that she was developing terminal symptoms, maybe. I mean, obviously she obviously had the virus, but or the disease. So I think that might have been a hint, all that. I mean, it was basically showing how Rita was weird, but it was also showing, in hindsight, it's showing she's a perfect candidate to reach high terminal symptoms. So I can see that the wife reached high terminal symptoms, and then the mountain gods covered it up and dealt with her. No, the spicier ones are 2 and 4, the ones involving the Hojos, because in Minagoroshi, there's obviously some indication that Satoto did something, but she did not remember, and Rika knows it, but they didn't want to talk about it. So my suspicion is Satoto caused one or both of the murders. Possibly. Now, why and how, what's the evidence? There's not really evidence, it's just literally speculation from that scene. But the first murder, so we know that Satoto was parents and Satoto was at the vacation, for sure. I don't remember if they talked about Satoshi at all for that, but I do remember for sure Satoto and the parents were there. And it sounds funny, but you know how Satoto pushed Keiichi off the bridge? It kind of, I don't know, it kind of matches Satoto pushing off the freaking parents off the observation deck. I know it's not really a hint, but it could be a funny thing. Funny, low-key, read in between the lines hint why Satoto did it. I think the more compelling one, though, is Satoto killed the ant. So my idea is Satoto kills the ant, Satoshi finds out. Satoto's, in her terminal stage, she doesn't really know what to do. So Satoshi's like, okay, this is kind of bad. And so anyways, Satoto kills the ant. Satoshi's like, well, I'm not gonna let my little sister go to jail. Brings the ant to the forest, beats her with a bat, makes her look like she's been brutalized by, someone with decent strength. Satoto can kill someone, but probably not bludgeon them to death, really hard. Show a lot of hate, but she probably did have, get a little stress out of his system and basically leave and basically set up this crime scene where it just does not seem likely for it to be Satoto who went to the festival, so she actually has an alibi, while Satoshi had to set up the whole body stuff. And then you have all the scenes in Maetashi where Satoshi was asking Oishi if they found any evidence, and Oishi said, oh, we'll find the culprit really soon, and Satoshi seems super scared, and you obviously think it's it's because Satoshi did it, but it could be because Satoto did it. Or I guess maybe I was being too complicated. Satoto killed the ant, Satoshi didn't move the body, but he did bash it up to mess with the corpse, and then that's why Satoshi was scared that they might find out that Satoto was really the person who did it. I don't know, that's a spiced up theory that I kind of like. It also would be it actually kind of add on to Satoto's idea that it's her fault Satoshi left, where it might actually be literal because Satoshi had to deal with the body because of her. Now that is just speculation, but it's also definitely possible for Satoshi just have been the one who did it, because he was obviously suffering from terminal symptoms too, hearing Oyashiro-sama and stuff, so it's not unbelievable but that he's the one who did it. But I like the Satoto theories. I think it spices it up a bit. Um, I guess that's like mainly the theories I wanted to talk about. Like again, most of the stuff's been solved, right? Mm, is there any mysteries I'm missing besides revealing what happened in the curse murders? The blue eyes, dude. I don't know. I felt like I brought this up, but nobody really answered me. Was there an answer for what the blue eyes meant in Watanagashi and Mayatashi? And by blue eyes, I mean those, like, sometimes in the final scene. We'll just talk about Watanagashi since I remember it better. That Mion had bright blue eyes. Like, bright blue eyes, like Rena blue eyes, instead of her green eyes. Or turquoise eyes, whatever color you want to call it. And I was like, yo, that's so sus. And then someone's like, oh, you'll find out later. And I just still don't understand. And they didn't bring it up in this arc, right? About I guess it was Shion, not Mion, that had bright blue eyes. You know, I don't have a good answer. Obviously, the great Rion theory has been disproven. Kind of. I guess it technically hasn't been disproven at all. Like, Rita doesn't know what happens after she dies, so she doesn't really talk about it. And the way Shion stabbed Keiichi and Mayatashi is still pretty sketchy. Huh? Rion theory alive? Yo. Watch it be confirmed. But yeah, other than that, I guess there's not really much mystery. So let's talk about like what can happen in the next arc and how do we win. Because you look at this arc and you're like, yeah, if Hanyu believed, then 7v7 believe power, we could have stood a chance. You know, it's sweet, but I don't believe that because Tatano was shooting people with a pistol. But that's besides the point. I think so. Basically, you're dealing with Tatano, who can kill with ease, and a bunch of elite mercenaries, which it was shown that in a 1v1 situation, each of the club member could handle their own. Like I said, they could. Don't underestimate their power levels. But you definitely cannot leave it to the last night, or a couple of nights even, when the mountain dogs are like all prepped up, you know, they're cutting the phone lines, they're setting up shop. You gotta stop it before then. I think you have to actually stop it before Tomotaki dies, to be honest. How would you do that? I know it kind of sounds silly, but like, just kill Takano before it happens. But I don't think that would even matter, because I assume Okanogi would just like take command or temporary command and execute the operation. And you can't just leave Hinamizawa, because apparently Rita dies if she leaves. So what can you do? First, I think Rita definitely needs to just tell the club members what's happening, like, at the start, so we can deal with that. We also need a world without Satoto's uncle. I think, like, because obviously, again, even though we still need to, like, stop one of our friends from going on a rampage, which, to reach the happy life, and Satoto's uncle is just, first of all, it'd be weird to get him again. But, like, I think he's definitely the hardest situation. Because, like, Rena's life, I mean, it's a pretty tight situation when with Rina and Teppei involved, but it's a lot more reasonable to deal with. And Keiichi's is just, like, paranoia. I feel like that he can be talked out of it. Though he is the talker, so maybe it's harder. But, like, Teppei's uncle, we've seen how hard it is to solve it. They just won't have the time after they put all that energy into saving Satoto. So they need to roll a non-Teppei world. I feel like, I don't know. But basically, you need to deal with the friend problem relatively fast. Then I feel like, I mean, it's kind of the answer I always give, but Sonozakis, you know, they're not mountain gods, but they are still like a large army of men. I feel like would be a very good versus scenario if you pit them against each other. I don't know. Again, I don't think killing Takano is necessarily the answer. But it could, like, if they kill... I guess if they kill in the right spot, without their leader, they just might not have, like, the ability to operate the... or commence the operation, so... maybe it is just the play. I think... you should also tell Oishi. And Oishi will believe it, 100%. I guarantee you Oishi will believe it, just because he believes in literally everything. It's like, it's his vice, you know. Just believes in every theory. I just thought it would kind of be funny if Rika just rolls like this pretty bad world where just a lot of things are going bad. Just as a contrast, because you get a world where Rika was kind of trying and then she ends up losing, so she gets her motivation. But then in the next arc, while she's like super motivated to change it, this world like kind of sucks in comparison. Like, dude, imagine if the Unto comes back and then a bunch of other stuff happened too, like in synchronization. I was trying to say, what if Keiichi didn't come, but you can't cut Keiichi for the last arc. That's ridiculous. What if... oh, I made this meme. I made this joke, I think, earlier in the actual series, but I'm like, what if there's a world where Tomotaki joins Takano? That's like double trouble. That joins her organization and doesn't die. But they kind of need him to die, so... or Takano does, so probably not. I mean, if Hanyu's... again, Hanyu is like a super trump card. She's like the ultimate surveillance bot. Not to be mean to Hanyu, but Hanyu's definitely gonna be in the game for the next arc. You know, she got the motivational group speech. What are you gonna do? Not try hard after all that motivation injecting into her? So, like, you can literally like track Takano for the whole time, get as much information as you need, and just do it, dude. Just end it. But yeah, it's a tight situation. I'm trying to like figure out ways to deal with this, but I can't really. I can't really do it besides saying Sonozakis. Because again, you're dealing with a freaking army, dude. An army of mountain gods. What are you supposed to do? You gotta unite the whole village to fight against them or something. I mean, like, what if you tell Oryu? What are the mountain gods going to do? Try to kill Oryu? They can try, but then that'll definitely rile the Sonozakis up. Well, yeah, I mean... huh. I don't really have much to say. I just kind of wanted to talk about... honestly, it was more just to talk about Satoko's possibility of killing the ant. That was pretty much the only, like, real theory I had. Well, you know, we added some fluff to it. But yeah, I think that's gonna end the video. I mean, again, our answers are given to us. I guess the question's like, why is Takano doing this? I guess the easy answer would be that it involves her grandfather. Inspiration from her grandfather, or something tragic happened to him, and then Takano wants to make his dream come true, etc., etc. It's not much speculation you can have on that. But yeah, basically moral of this video is Satoko killed everyone. She drove Rita's mom mad with her traps. she actually killed the foreman with a trap, and the others just found him dead and decided to cut up the body anyways. She killed her parents, and then she killed the aunt, and then she knew the mountain dogs would clean it up because the whole time while she was acting like she was taking the vitamin shot, she knew the whole time. And her big brain, and in her big brain, she was just playing in dumb sight. Playing dumb in the line, in the spotlight. There you go. So basically, Satoko is Oyasho-sama. But yeah, that's it for me. If you have any other questions about theories and stuff, or your own theories or whatever you want to talk about, just leave them in the comments, because I don't have any theories. I kind of wanted to have more since this is like the last theory video, but you were right when or someone was right when they said Sumi Horoboshi would be the last one you need a theory video on, because I don't have questions, but I do want answers, and the next arc will be starting soon, so get ready for that. But thank you for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed, and I will see you next time. Good night.